Hey fabulous people, welcome back to my channel. In this video we're going to be talking about how you can invite your family members over to the UK for Omugwo. So if you're Nigerian and you're watching this video, you probably know what Omugwo is, but if this is the first time you are hearing that word, then Omugwo is just like a term we use to describe the situation where a woman that has just given birth invites someone over to her house to spend some time with her to support her following delivery. So it could be like spending a few weeks to a few months, and you could invite your mother-in-law, your sister, your friend. It doesn't really matter. But if you are living in the UK and you have a baby, you probably know that it's very hard for you to get someone to leave their job, come and sit in your house to give you that support that you need, especially if this is your first child. So in that case, it would be better for you to invite someone over from your country to come to the UK, and that is the purpose of this video. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the type of visa you can apply for. There are different types of visitors visa. So we're also going to be looking at the duration of visa you should apply for. Should you apply for the 6 months visa or the 2 years visa or the 5 years visa? Can you get a 2 years visa as a new passport holder? We're going to be talking about that in this video. We're also going to be looking at the proof of funds that you should present to UKVI when you are submitting your visa application. And apart from that, I'm also going to be showing you the type of invitation letter that you would need. In fact, I'm going to give you a sample of the invitation letter I used to invite both my mom and my mother-in-law for Omugwo. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. So if you are seeing my face for the first time, my name is Scholastica, and on this channel I talk about how you can travel abroad without spending money on travel agents. So if that is something you are interested in, then make sure you click the like button and the subscribe button below, and also the notification bell so you'll be notified when I drop more videos like this. So moving on to the purpose of this video, how you can invite your family members to the UK for Omugwo. So the type of visa you need to apply for is the standard visitors visa. You can apply for the 6 months visa, you can apply for 2 years, you can apply for 5 years, you can also apply for the 10 years visitors visa. Now there are different prices to these visas. When I did my mom's application, I applied for the 6 months visitors visa and it was granted. When I did my mother-in-law's visa application just a few months ago, I did the 2 years visa application. At first I was skeptical because I was like, this is a virgin passport. She just got this passport. She has not traveled out of Nigeria before. Will it be approved? Yes, it was approved. She got the 2 years visitors visa. But the thing with the 2 years visitors visa is that it's not like she's going to come and stay in the UK for 2 years. No, it doesn't work like that. She can only stay in the UK 6 months at a time. So she'll come for 6 months. After 6 months, she returns back to Nigeria for another 6 months and then come back to the UK for another 6 months. So in real sense, it's like a 1 year visitors visa, but they call it 2 years because you can use it within 2 years period. And the good thing about this 2 years visitors visa is that whenever I want her to come back to the UK after 6 months, I don't have to start showing proof of funds. I don't have to tell her to go for biometrics or do the whole visa application process anymore. So that's a plus. You can also apply for the 5 years visitors visa and the 10 years visitors visa. I think it's going to be approved depending on how you packaged your application and how you present your proof of funds. So let's talk about the required documents to submit for your visa application to be approved. Now for this to be easy, I've divided it into 2 parts. So we're going to talk about the required documents that your visitor, that is the person you are inviting, has to upload to the UKVI portal. And then we're going to look at the required documents that you, the host, has to upload to support her application. So when my mother and my mother-in-law were coming to the UK for Omugwo, I was the one that did their visa application for them. I used my email, I used my phone number, I uploaded all the documents that they required from my laptop right here in the UK, and anything I didn't need, I asked them to send to me. So you can do the application on their behalf or you can let them do it on their own. Any way works. So let's start with the required documents for your mom or your mother-in-law or your sister or your friend or whoever you're inviting over to the UK. So the first document they need, in fact, it's very essential, you cannot even apply without this document, is the international passport. Now, most of the time, our mothers, our parents don't really have international passports. So if you are planning to invite them over for Omugwo and you know that you are going to deliver your baby like in a few months ahead, I'll say start applying for their international passport right now, because it takes a lot of time. So you can apply like 6 months before the time that you want them to come over to the UK, so that you don't get disappointed. And the same goes with this application also. You need to apply for the visitor's visa ahead of time, so that you have your baby when your mom or when your mother-in-law is already here in the UK to help you. In my own case, I delayed. I didn't know I had to apply on time. So by the time I had my baby, my mom was not here yet. Anyway, moving forward. So apart from the international passport, you also need to ask for the national identification number for whoever you are inviting. It could be the card or it could be the slip. It doesn't really matter. Just ensure that they have a national identification number that you can upload to the portal. Now, apart from that, they also need to provide proof of ties to home. So if they have a job back in Nigeria that they are still going to, you need to ask them for their employment letter. They need to get a letter from their employer saying that they have applied for annual leave or they have applied to take off from work for this amount of time and it has been granted. If they are already retired, like in the case of my mom, you need to upload their retirement approval letter, even though they've not started receiving their pension yet. Just something to show that they've retired and they don't need to take any permission from anybody to travel to the UK. Another scenario is if they are traders and they have their own shop. You can tell them to give you the documents to say that this is their shop and they own this building. Or if they have their own house, you can tell them to give you like a proof to show that this is their house and they have something to bring them back to their country. Now, apart from that, they also need to provide information for each dependent that is left back in Nigeria. So if you have like 4 siblings that will be left back in Nigeria, you have to put their names, their date of birth, if they live with her currently, and if she's responsible for them financially. You have to put all that information in the visa application that you are completing online. So apart from that, they also need to submit their proof of funds. So the proof of funds is like their bank account statement, and they can provide like 3 months or 6 months bank account statement. And in that account statement, they have to have enough money to show that they can at least support their trip. So if you are writing the invitation letter, I'm going to talk about this later when I'm talking about the invitation letter, but since we are talking about the bank statement, let me just like chip this in. So if you are going to be financially responsible for the trip, that's you are sponsoring everything about the trip, you have to include that in your invitation letter. But if you are saying that she's going to contribute some finances to the expenses for the trip, then you have to make sure that that money that you are saying she can provide is in that bank account statement. So for me, I sent money ahead of time for my mom and told her not to touch that money for like the next 3 months. So when I needed the account statement, that money was there, and there was also proof that I was sending money to her regularly. So that also had like proof of ties for both of us, so to show that she is financially dependent on me. Another thing about proof of funds, if she's a trader or if she earns a salary, there is a part in the application letter that is going to ask you to say how much does she make annually. So you want to put that and also calculate how much her salary is. So don't go and like inflate the numbers and say she earns 1 million naira annually, when you know that from her shop she only makes like maybe 5,000 a month. It won't make sense to whoever is going through the application. If you are sending money to your parents, if you have other siblings sending money to her, calculate, have an idea of how much you think she would be entering her account in a whole year, and then use that estimate when you are putting down the amount of money she makes annually, so that there will be no confusion. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't understand, let me know in the comment section. I'm going to like explain further, but this is just to bring your attention to this requirement, that you should not like overinflate the figures, when in actual sense the money that is entering into her account monthly does not like equate to that lump amount that you are putting down there as annual income for the year. So moving on. So that is the required documents you would need for whoever you are inviting. Now for you on your own, you also have to upload some documents to support her application. Now for you, you need to upload your international passport. Of course, that is essential. That is a proof of your identity. You need to upload a current international passport that is not expired. So apart from your international passport, you also need to upload proof of your legal stay in the UK. That is your BRP card. So you need to scan both the back and front copy of your BRP card and upload it to the application portal. Now moving on, you also need to show proof of employment. So that is your employment letter from your place of work. You also need to get a letter. For me, I got a letter for both my mom and my mother-in-law from my employer saying that I've been employed in this company for so long, and this is my COS number. I'm going to look for a sample of that letter and attach it to the description box below. So apart from the employment letter, you will also need to upload your certificate of sponsorship. Now moving on, you also need to upload your proof of funds. This one is like where the real cocoa is, because if you get this one wrong, your application is going to be denied. The proof of funds, most people will upload like 3 months bank statement, but for me, I go back to like 6 months. So I would usually upload like 6 months bank statement, and in that bank statement, I want to make sure that I have enough money. I cannot stress this enough, guys. There is a trick that I usually use, and that is, if you are inviting anybody to the UK, they will ask you how long is this person planning to stay in the UK. So you could say, well, let me use example, my mom, right? My mom was planning to stay for 6 months, but in my visa application, I did not say 6 months. I used like 1 month, because the longer you say that this person is going to stay with you, the more amount of money you need to prove as proof of funds. Hope you get it. So even if you say they are going to stay with you for just 1 month, it doesn't mean that the visa is going to expire after 1 month. The visa is still going to be valid for 6 months. So that duration, how long are they going to stay? That question is just like a formality question. I won't really take it serious. You can use 1 month, you can use 2 months, but just put it at the back of your head that the longer you say they are going to stay, the more money you have to show as proof of funds. So for my mom, I said she was going to stay for 1 month. And another thing you should take note of when you are showing your proof of funds is that you need to have like double the amount of money you plan to spend. So you have to calculate in your head, how much is flight tickets to and fro, how much is the visa fee going to be, how much do you think you will spend on feeding, on utilities, on transportation. Like you need to like calculate all those things in your head, then double it, right? So let's say, for example, I plan to spend like, maybe her visit is going to cost like £3,000. Double that amount, that is £6,000. So you want to make sure that you have at least, not at most though, at least £6,000 in your account, because you've put in your application that she's going to spend 1 month with you. So in that 1 month, you are planning to spend £3,000, but you have £6,000 in your account. So the visa official is less likely to reject that application, because you can show that you have enough funds to support her, and you will still have enough money to yourself. Since you are going to have a baby, there is no point spending your entire life savings to invite somebody over to the UK. That is why most of the applications that are being rejected for proof of funds are being rejected, because you are not showing enough proof of funds. So even if you are saying, okay, you have like £4,000 in your account, yes, £4,000 could be enough for one person to come and stay with you for 1 month. However, the visa official is thinking, oh, she just had a baby. She's going to be on maternity leave. She's not working. She's not earning money. She's just going to be getting like the stipends from the government or the maternity pay from your employer. It's not enough. And you've been saving like £4,000 all this while that you've been working before the birth of your baby. So it doesn't make any sense for me to approve this visa when she's going to spend her entire life savings just to invite this one person to the UK. So I'm going to reject your visa and you can apply next time. Do you get the gist? So this is how I've been able to like avoid visa refusals. And when I was applying for my mother-in-law, I applied for a 2 years visa for her, and I was a bit skeptical because I was like, she has never applied for a visa before, she has never left Nigeria, this is her first international passport. What if they say, why did she not apply for 6 months? Why is she applying for 2 years? When I applied for her, I think I had like £10,000 in my account at that time. I'm not sure anymore, but I know I had even more than double the amount I put down that she's going to need within the duration of her stay. Hope you guys understood that part, because if you don't understand this part, then there is no point watching this video. If you want to rewind this part and rewatch it again so that you get this proof of funds right, then please do so, because I don't want to hear that you watch this video and then somebody you are inviting still got rejected. That is not our testimony on this channel. So moving on, apart from your bank statement, you also need to upload your pay slip. So you can upload like 3 to 6 months of pay slips. This is just to show that you have a full-time job, you have a way of getting regular income. So even if you are spending this chunk of your money right now, of your savings right now, to sponsor somebody over to the UK, you still have a plan that more funds are going to be entering your account monthly, so you're not going to go broke. After uploading all that financial documents, you also need to upload proof of UK accommodation. So you need to show that she has a place to stay when she comes over to the UK. Now, if you are renting, you need to get a letter from your landlord that is permitting her to stay with you for the duration of her visit. Again, I'm going to leave a screenshot of what that letter looks like in the screen. If you are unable to get this permission letter, you can also upload your house agreement contract. So you can do that to fulfill that UK accommodation requirement. So apart from that, you also need to get your Mat B1 form from your midwife. So I think they usually give this form towards the end of the 2nd trimester or towards the beginning of the 3rd trimester. I'm not sure anymore. Come on, my baby is almost 2 years old. I'm not sure anymore. But when you want to apply for this visiting visa, you can ask your midwife to give you your Mat B1 form. When you get your Mat B1 form, guys, this is not part of this video, but just to let you know that you also need to submit this Mat B1 form to your employer as soon as possible so that you can get your maternity pay. Okay, so moving on. After uploading your Mat B1 form, you need to upload your letter of invitation. There are different ways to write this letter of invitation. I'm going to leave a sample of the one I used for my mom and also a sample of the one I used for my mother-in-law. So you'll see that the 2 letters are almost the same but kind of different, because for my mom, I was saying that she is my mom, I need her for support, yada yada yada. For my mother-in-law, my baby was already born, so I don't really need her for support. I just needed her to come and bond with the baby. This is her first grandchild. She has not had her child. She has not had her granddaughter. I want her here in the UK, you know, stuff like that. Proof of ties that I submitted for my mother-in-law and for my mom, they are different. So for my mom, I used my birth certificate as proof of ties. For my mother-in-law, I used my marriage certificate and my husband's birth certificate. If your mother-in-law's name and signature it's not in your marriage certificate, you can also use pictures from your wedding that includes your mother-in-law as proof of ties. If you are going to be inviting your in-laws, you also need some information from your husband to support the application, because now your husband is the main person to show proof of ties. So you need to upload your husband's passport, birth certificate. He needs to show his pay slips, his employment letter, basically everything that you submitted, but your husband has to submit his own as well. So in the invitation letter, you have to sign and your husband has to sign it as well. This is to show that he's in consent. Well, this is not just for inviting the in-law alone. When you are inviting your mom, your husband has to also co-sign that letter, just to show that he's in support of her coming over to spend this amount of time in his house. I also uploaded her birth certificate to show that I am not just making up this story. I don't have a Mat B1 form anymore because I already had my baby, and this is already like almost 2 years since she was born. So I uploaded her birth certificate, and of course her birth certificate has the name of my husband, and my husband's surname is the same with his mom's surname, so everything, proof of ties. The main thing is that you need to prove to the visa official without reasonable doubt that your application, the reason why you are inviting this person over to the UK, is genuine. So I would say submit enough documents to support your application. It's going to be a problem if you don't submit enough documents, but never a problem if you submit too much documents. If you submit too much documents, they'll just pick the one they want and approve your application, which is what we want. But if you don't submit enough documents, that is when they are going to reach out to you and say, we need this more, we need more documents, we need more proof, and that is going to prolong the whole application. So after uploading all the required documents and filling in the application form online, then you want to click submit and pay the fee for the standard visitors application. Then you have to book a time that she can go for her biometrics. I'm talking to those that are in Nigeria now, right? You can use the Lagos or the Abuja offices for your biometrics, but I've heard that the Abuja one is faster, easier, more customer friendly, right? My mom used the Lagos ones, the one in Ikeja, and well, they tried, but you know, Lagos wahala. Why my mother-in-law used Abuja, and going forward, I'm going to be using Abuja. So you know, there's a difference in the two places. Another thing is that when you are submitting your application, if your parents, if your mom or whoever you are inviting does not live in that place that she's going to do the biometrics, then tick the option that says the passport should be delivered straight to her address. It is 100% safe, guys. I was skeptical about this at first as well, but it's 100% safe. I used it for my mom, I used it for my mother-in-law, and they got their passport delivered to their house, and yay, they got their visa approved. So anyway, I want to see testimonies under this video to show that you followed everything I said and you got their visas approved. Guys, congratulations. If you are watching this video and you're expecting a baby, congratulations. Welcome to the world, little prince, little princess. If you are watching this video after your mom has had you, welcome to the world. So guys, if you watched this video and you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share this video to as many people as you think would find it valuable, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I love you guys. Stay fabulous. Bye.